watching the Weiss channel. Thank you very much. Today we're going to talk about inequalities. Inequalities, like greater than, or less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. If you have at least $10, that means you could have more than $10, right? If you have at least $10. Could it mean you also have $10? You could, thank you for the nod, right? You could have exactly $10 or more. Does it make sense that that would be x is greater than or equal to 10? You have more than or equal to 10, right? What if you have at most $10? Means you could not have more than $10, right? You could have $10, but that would be the most you have. Could you have less than $10? Sure, because you have at most $10. If you have at most $10, does it make sense that x would be less than or equal to 10? Yes? Okay. What if you simply have more than $10? You absolutely positively have more than $10. Definitely not just $10, but more than $10. Then you'd have x is just greater than 10. You wouldn't put equal, greater than or equal. It's just greater than. Do you understand the difference between more than and at least? At least means it could be equal to 10. But if it's more than, it means it's not even equal to 10. You definitely have more than that amount. Okay? And if you have less than 10, then you just have less than 10. Yeah, now I don't even have $10 on me. I know that for a fact. I have less than 10. But if I had at most 10, then I might have $10 on me. I'm not sure, but I might. Okay? So you understand the difference between at most and less than? At most means I could actually have $10. Okay? So what we're going to do, though, mostly is solve for the inequality. And it's really pretty much the same as if this were an equal sign. But here it's a greater than sign. Negative 6 plus 2y is greater than negative 16. The way it works is the same as if it were an equal sign. How do I get rid of minus 6? Well, I add 6, right? I get 2y greater than negative 10. Now what do I do to both sides? Go ahead, somebody tell me. Not subtract, right? How do I get rid of the times 2? Right? Divide 2, right? Divide 2. And negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Y is greater than negative 5. And we leave the greater than sign in this case. Okay? We don't change it to equals. Same thing over here. How do I get rid of minus 5? I add 5, right? I have 5m less than or equal to 20. How do I get rid of times 5? Divide 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. M less than or equal to 4. Okay? Same thing here. How do I get rid of plus 1? I minus 1. 4u greater than 28. How do I get rid of times 4? I divide 4. U greater than 7. Everyone okay so far? Can I have a nod if we're good? Everyone good? Okay. Same thing. How do I get rid of minus 2? I add 2. 4w less than 24. How do I get rid of times 4? I divide 4. W less than 6. Now, -7, a negative number is less than 0, right? But positive 7 is greater than 0, right? Now, if negative x is less than 0, then positive x is greater than 0. Right? Everyone okay so far? But this is also true. If x is less than 0, then negative x is greater than 0. How is that possible? Well, what if x is -3? If x is -3, then -3, what's the negative of -3? Positive 3, right? So if x is a negative, okay, if x is a negative, all right, the negative of the negative will be greater than 0, right? Can I have a nod if you understand what I'm talking about here, okay? Okay, so here's what happens. All right, here's what happens, and I need you to watch this carefully. How do I get rid of times -3? Divide -3, right? Divide -3. Now, warning. Warning. Whenever you divide by a negative, this guy flips, changes direction, every time you divide or multiply by a negative. And you get x is greater than or equal to -4. Okay? When you divide by a negative, this guy flips around. Nod your head if you see what I just did there. Everyone okay with that? That's always the case. Okay? Same thing here. How do you get rid of times -7? You divide -7. Warning. Warning. I'm dividing by a negative. When you divide by a negative, flip the sign. X is less than -3. When you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, flip the sign. Okay? One more time. Here, I'm dividing by -9. Again. Warning, don't forget, there's that negative. Dividing by a negative, I'm going to flip the sign. Here, negative divided by a negative is a positive, right? But I still flip the sign. X is greater than or equal to 7. Notice, it was less than or equal to. I flipped the sign, it's greater than or equal to. The equal doesn't change. Here, it's greater than, it just becomes less than. You don't add in an equal to. You don't change the sign, you just flip it. Here, it's less than or equal to, comes greater than or equal to. Okay, if there's an equals there, you keep the equals. If there's no equals there, you don't keep the equals. Okay? Now, would you agree if 4 is less than 7, that 7 is greater than 4, right? So if I flip the 4 and the 7 around, I also have to flip the sign, right? If I change places of these two guys, I have to flip the sign around. Okay? So if I say 4 is less than x, that means x must be greater than 4, right? Can I have a nod there? Do you understand what I'm saying? If 4 is less than x, that means x is greater than 4. Okay? So, check this out. All right? Once again, I'm going to minus 5 from both sides over here. Okay? I get 3f is greater than negative 6. In this case, am I dividing by a negative? Do I divide by a negative here? I'm not dividing by a negative. This guy's negative, but I'm not dividing by a negative, so the sign does not flip. F is greater than negative 2. Okay? But over here, I have 7 plus t over negative 2 less than or equal to 12. What? I'm going to minus 7 from both sides. I get t over negative 2 less than or equal to 5. How do I get rid of divided by negative 2? Multiply negative 2, right? I'm going to multiply negative 2. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Times negative 2. Warning. Warning. I'm multiplying by a negative. When you divide or multiply by a negative, the sign flips. T is greater than or equal to negative 10. I need a big fat nod there. Do you see what I did there? Okay. Same problem. Check this out. I'm minusing 7 to both sides, but this time I get t over negative 2 is less than or equal to negative 5. I'm still going to multiply by negative 2. I get t multiplying by a negative. Flip the sign. T is greater than or equal to negative times a negative, positive 10. Are we still good there? Can I have another nod? We're still okay? Okay. Now check this out. Look at the letter on the right-hand side. Letters on the right-hand side. All right. Here's 20. I want to get rid of, how do I get rid of a positive 20? I minus 20. Okay. 94 minus 20 is 74. Greater than negative p. You see, I don't lose that negative. Would you agree that negative p is the same as negative 1p? Right? Okay. So now I'm going to divide by a negative. Here I go. Divide negative 1. Because I don't want negative p, I just want p. Once again, dividing by a negative. I gotta flip the sign. 74 divided by negative 1 is negative 74, less than p. Okay? Now, you can put it in as your answer like this, or you could write p is greater than negative 74. Right? If negative 74 is less than p, that means p is greater than negative 74. Can I get one more nod? Convince me you understand what I'm talking about. you've been watching the Weiss channel.